What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Game Time Discussions. My name is Cameron Selby here with Emery Cuzzy, and today we are going to go over the top offensive tackle prospects in the 2024 NFL Draft class. It's a pretty exciting class. There's going to be about 4 to 6 that are possibly going to be off the board after just the first round, and all of them will be gone by the end of the second round, I would believe. So a lot of fun ones, a lot of fun pronunciations. It's a good class.
Well, I would actually say that there's probably more than 4 or 6, but some of these guys, just for a disclaimer, we picked guys and put them on this list if they played tackle throughout their whole career. When we start talking about them, some of them will probably project better as guards and interior linemen. So just kind of know that that's coming. We're ranking them based on their tackle ability. So if the team that picks them puts them at tackle, that's where we were ranking them. But when we do the interior offensive line class, we'll also talk about them in that video, just so everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, because you look at a lot of mock drafts going around, including our own, where we're anticipating a few of them moving to guard that haven't played. We see right tackle that hasn't played a snap at left tackle, but people want to force at left tackle.
Right.
Positions are flexible, but the biggest deal is just talking and breaking down each one because, like we said, it's a pretty strong class.
Yes.
So we'll start off our honorable mentions. We got Kieran Amagaji, and we got Kingsley Suamataia.
Yes, absolutely.
That was first take.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was awesome.
So
give us a little tidbit about each one.
Yeah, these two, their names are insane. We have a couple other names that are going to be difficult to name, but Kieran Amagaji, he's from Yale, so Ivy League school. Sometimes you don't really see Ivy League schools on any of these lists, and also you don't see Ivy League school players that got injured their senior year making these lists, not being able to participate in the combine, not being able to participate in the Senior Bowl. Kieran does. Kieran has all that athletic ability to be able to be on this list for sure. He basically dominated everybody he played. I mean, that's not a surprise. Just completely dominated. Nobody was able to do anything against him. 3 pressures. That's pretty awesome in his whole career. Biggest issue, he had a torn quad injury, which is one of the bigger muscles in your body. Definitely one of the ones that takes longer to redevelop, and so that's definitely one of the biggest problems and why he's not actually higher on this list. And also, we haven't seen him do it. But one thing about him, he's very position versatile. Played guard in 2021, so he could kick inside if they needed him to. Could play tackle at the next level. But yeah, I wish I could have seen him play at the combine and at the Senior Bowl. So that's for Kieran. And then Kingsley out of BYU.
Wait, what's his last name?
Suamataia. Thank you. From BYU. He played in the Big 12. A lot of Big 12 guys on this list. So Kingsley is one of the more athletic guys. Just kind of his ability to move, his footwork, all those things just are really special. So I put down he is fleet-footed. And so what that means is like when he almost dances is the best way to put it. And we always talk about how offensive tackles are on an island a lot. They have them in the pass rusher. Whoever that pass rusher is trying to get to the quarterback. Well, if you're able to dance, these guys on defense are doing spin moves and things like that. It literally is a dance. Like you have to be patient and able to do that. And he does a really good job of that. Really good pass blocker. Fits in that way. One thing that I did notice is he lacks some tendencies when they do stunts and blitzes. Sometimes he gets his eyes in the wrong place and misses that stuff. And if you look at his pressure board, most of the pressures are on things like that rather than one-on-one blocks with edges. Big 12's really good. Had some good rushers. He did a pretty good job against all of them. So, solid player. But this is such a top-heavy class. These two guys couldn't make it in. And we're going to explain why in a second.
Right. Yeah. So we'll kick it off at number 10. Patrick Paul at Houston. Big 12 line or offensive tackle of the year. But yeah, so 0 sacks for Patrick Paul, basically no pressures, was incredible as a pass blocker, one of the best in the country, offensive tackle of the year. Give us a little bit about him.
So if you look at the screen here, he's got a 36.25 inch arms. Just absolutely freakish arms. A lot of the guys on average are going to have 34.
Mm-hmm.
So add 2 inches to both sides, and you're getting closer to what Patrick Paul has. He aligned as a left tackle. He's going to be a true left tackle at the next level. What his biggest problem is he lacks the athleticism, some of that athleticism. He's really great, obviously, in pass protection, but it has a lot to do with the fact that his body is just so large that he gets in the way that way, rather than, being able to pass set and then a guy goes inside, him able to get his front hand in there, his foot in there, and punch correctly. A lot of the times he just uses his wide stance and his large body to get in the way, creates time, of course, which is great. I mean, he's a very 6'7.5", 36-inch arms, long legs. It makes a lot of sense for him to play that way. I just wish I saw the athleticism to put him higher on this list. Another thing, the 69.4 run block grade. I saw the issues of his bend in that, because when you're an offensive lineman and you're 6'7", you have to be able to bend in the run game, because otherwise D linemen will get under your pads,
right?
And then they'll press you, and then you're in a losing situation where they can get you off very easily. So I definitely saw that. 40 was awesome. 5'13" is really good for his size. So yeah, I mean, basically he has a really solid floor. I'm not sure that the ceiling is there because he lacks the athleticism.
Right, and obviously, basically, we'll be going on 24 as the NFL season starts.
Mm-hmm.
Was that because he was a late bloomer, or did he have some injuries that he was dealing with early on?
Honestly, I don't think he wasn't a late bloomer. He's actually started. Actually, let me see if I have that here. I do not have that here. I believe but I know he started 3 seasons. I was going to try to give you the snap counts. It's over 2,000 total snaps that he's played. So no, he wasn't necessarily a late bloomer. He just took advantage of the fact that staying got him a higher draft capital.
Right.
COVID year, 5th year, things like that.
Gotcha. So moving on, just as Emery mentioned, one of the guys that is projected to move inside, but did truly just play left tackle at Duke, Graham Barton. Just first team all ACC, very few sacks allowed, and he's got youth on his side as well.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a little bit about him and why people think that he might be better as an interior offensive line.
So one big thing with him is he has shorter arms, kind of moves like a guard. He had one of the highest pressure rates in the class, which makes a lot of sense. I just said, you're in an island, you're out there by yourself. So he's not the same mover that some of the other guys are. He's very physical. I love his style. He has a mean mentality, capable of just, pancaking anybody on the field at any time. Love when he blocks down and gets, a double team on a guy. He can remove that guy. So what we always talked about when I played was, can he put the guy on the opposite side? So like if we're blocking together, me and you, and the guy's in between us, and we're going that way, can I get that guy to that side of you, the farthest side of you? And he does a really good job of that when he gets a 3 technique. He'll do the same thing when he moves inside. Mm-hmm. But he lacks the pass blocking ability at tackle that I wanted to see, which is almost like there's a guy we had last year in Peter Skronsky. Same thing, short arms, similar build, moved inside from tackle from Northwestern, and has done okay. Mm-hmm. I think that Graham Barton's probably a better product right now when he moves inside, but it's the same idea to me.
Which is saying something in this class, because he's all the way down at number 9. Peter Skronsky was a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
So that just kind of shows the depth of this class. And like we said, we're kind of combining a little bit of some of the interior linemen, but guys that primarily played tackle. We wanted to just emphasize their stats, because that's mostly what we have to lean on is the film, and
right.
We can project all we want, but we got to tell you who they are and where they came from. So moving on, we're going to go Jordan Morgan. he's another guy that's been a kind of a fringe first round pick. We've been back and forth on at the very end of the first round. Tell me about him. Is he capable of playing on both sides? And give me some of your outlook on him.
Yeah, so he's a little bit older, also, 23. Those are good years for him. Played left tackle and right tackle in his time at Arizona. Had an injury, that's why he was still there. But my big things is he fits certain schemes better than others. He's not as big as some of the other guys. He's not as tall. He's not as weight-wise either. But what he does well is his athleticism, his first step, things like that. Does a really good job of that. So outside zone schemes, teams that need someone that can move really well in the run game, he will fit. And he's pretty solid overall pass blocker. I know you see his is a higher percentage than we've seen already, but at the same time, those games are against like Pac-12, Latham, Jonah Ellis. Those are the games that he had issues in, and it makes sense. But that's also why he's dropped out of the first round for us, is because we needed that consistency against the best players. And we didn't necessarily see it. But he has a lot of versatility. That's why we originally mocked him to San Francisco, who has problems at both tackle spots. Trent Williams aging, the other side, 1-year deal, Colton McKivett. So that's why he was there. But yeah.
Yeah, and definitely will be one of the better players available if he were to fall out of the first round.
Right.
But going forward with somebody that we do believe will be a true first rounder, but we don't know if he'll be a tackler or not, is Troy Fautanu out of Washington. He was a third-team All-American, Pac-12 Lion of the Year. Just very, very solid in the pass blocking game, but he is older as well. But yeah, he's one of the guys that a lot of people say is the top interior lineman on the board in this class. So give us a little bit about him and why I think he might be more capable of being this type player.
Well, his height is a good start, 6'4". One thing he does have going for him is he has very long arms for his height. He ran a really solid 40. That was pretty impressive, but even more so, the 10-yard split is what we really care about when it comes to big guys. And his was one of the better ones in this class.
Let's point out.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out is he played for Washington, who threw the ball a ton. 984 snaps in 2023 at left tackle. So lots of films for him. And, you know, he played 15 whole games, 2 total sacks in 15 games. That's pretty good. You know, that's really solid. Even knowing he's playing tackle, moving him into guard makes a lot of sense, of course. And I think he has the ability to transition there. He's really athletic, so a team that runs gap scheme means pulling. If you, in a scheme like that, he would fit really well. But yeah, I think that with him, it's a little worrisome having to move him inside. Never played there. Not sure how comfortable he'll be. But as a tackle, he would be the 7th on this board, which is really good still, on top of him being the possible number 1 interior O-lineman.
For sure. So going into it next, we got Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma. He played essentially right tackle, was where he had most of his snaps as an offensive lineman. Honorable mention, Big 12. He's one of the greener prospects of this list. Obviously, you know, his PFF grade is nothing to just get excited about. Might be the lowest on this board. But tell us a little bit about him and why people have him so high.
He is all about projection. So we just talked about Patrick Paul. We just talked about Kingsley. We now get into Tyler Guyton. They're all Big 12 guys. Well, Tyler Guyton was an honorable mention, Big 12 player. While the guys behind him, Lineman of the Year, first team all Big 12. The reasoning is because of projection. He played defensive tackle at TCU when he came into TCU at his first year. Moved from defensive tackle when he got to Oklahoma, played tight end, and now he's playing right tackle. One of the most athletic prospects we've seen, for sure. And that's part of the thing. Like, he's 6'8", you know, 322 pounds. He did solid in all the testing, has really long arms. I just think, with him, you just have to take it all with a grain of salt, though. But what he projects to be is really awesome. And we talked about it in our mock 2.0, where he made it in the first round. He is a project. He needs to go to a team that is capable of allowing him to sit for a year and learn. Mm-hmm. Later in the first round, there's a lot of teams that can do that because there's a reason they're there. But yeah, he has the rare athleticism and he can do the dance. He has great patience and he can do the dance. He can very comfortable in that aspect. He needs to work on the run game, of course, because of never really doing it. It's all about hand placement. He has terrible hand placement. Mm-hmm. That's all technique. And so as he plays more at the position, he'll get more technique. Hand placement will get better. His foot speed will get better. All those things. And he'll improve. But yeah.
Right. So, yeah, we'll jump into our top 5 here. We have J.C. Latham, mammoth of a human being, 360 pounds, and he's only 21 and a half years old going into the NFL season next year. First team all SEC, played fantastic, and a lot of people actually have him higher than we have him projected.
Right.
Tell us why that is.
Because of the fact that, he's got great age. He's got good arm length, 6'6", 360. That's what he played at. That's awesome. I worry that he cannot ever be a true pass protector. He has slow feet. He's great in the run game. He might be one of the best in the run game and this whole group, but lacks the flexibility, has a really hard time against speed rushers because of the fact that he can't turn his hips, he can't bend. So I just worry about him a little bit more than I worry about the other guys that are more twitchy, more bend, more flexibility in those ways. He lunges. So what that means is he throws his arms and his shoulders come with it rather than throwing hands and shoulders staying back and square. Right. Which gets him in trouble because then all of a sudden he's on the ground.
Off balance.
Yeah, and off balance. So that hurts him. But combination of size, strength, and flexibility make him interesting. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Because he might be the most powerful lower bottom legged guy in this class. But he just doesn't have the flexibility to use it. And that's what we want to see. We want to see him be able to use that flexibility.
Right. Yeah, and he's one that, like we said, we're a little bit lower on. Still first round caliber player. However, he's being put in mock drafts as high as 9, 10, and 12, which is way too high, especially being over the guys we'll mention in a short time. But yeah, very exciting prospect, and there's a lot of tackle need teams.
I think personally, I would love to see, and they're not projecting him this way. I would love to see him play guard because I think he fits so much better as a guard. Size, obviously, you don't really see. You see them, you see 360 tackles, but the reason tackles aren't 360 pounds is because they can't move as well, and you have to be able to move because you're blocking guys that are so much faster than you. If he goes to guard, he can stay 360, and then he's a very good run blocker. He doesn't have to worry about the pass as much. It just makes a lot more sense in my head. That's not what's going to happen, though. He's not going to be projected at guard. And especially if he goes top 15, he's not going to be a guard until his second contract. Kind of reminds me of Evan Neal. Evan Neal, guy that went to Alabama, plays right tackle for the Giants, one of the worst grades in all of football last year. Mm-hmm. I think he'd be a good guard. Move him to guard. But they just aren't doing it. So he's 21 and a half, lots of room to grow. But I just need him to... He's only muscle right now, and he needs some flexibility in his life. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So, next we're going to go Amarius Mims, 6'8", 340, not even 22 years old yet. He is actually coming off an injury, so even though he did allow 0 sacks and basically no pressures, it's not a full season sample size, right. But he's been very solid, progressing over time as he's been in college at Georgia.
Yeah. So he had 402 pass snaps in 2 years. 1 penalty, 6 hurries, 0 sacks, and 0 hits. So he's been excellent, basically. 402 pass snaps. He's been injured both years. That's the biggest worry with him, but 6 hurries and no other pressures is pretty awesome. 1 penalties he sustained was 1 holding call. It was 2 years ago. He's got 36 and an eighth inch arms, towering 6'8" man, 507 40, which is awesome. Just did a lot of things right. His ranking is based on like what we expect him to be, though, more so than just like what he has done. So that's the little disclaimer, you know.
But that's totally fair, because we see other guys that, you know, are very unknown and green prospects like Tyler Guyton, who people are higher on than us. And
Yeah.
it's not like it's because of accomplishment either. But we're just much higher on Amarius Mims as being able to convert at the next level than somebody like Tyler Guyton, just because he has played great when he has been healthy.
And it'll also be about situation, because like we were talking about earlier, depending on where these guys go, if they're asked to move to left tackle, brand new world. If they're asked to, you know, shift inside to guard, it's a new world. So just kind of what the prospect is and where they go matters. You know, of course, fit always matters with all these guys. But I think Mims, to me, has the higher floor of him and Guyton. And then also, I think he definitely has one of the highest ceilings, just being the mauler that he is. One thing he does a lot, though, that I dislike is he stands a little too tall. I mean, when you're 6'8" and you stand tall, you are really putting yourself at a disadvantage. And then I guess, you know, the injuries, of course, are always scary. So, but for sure, good guy, good player.
Absolutely. And so going into our top 3, we got Olu Fashanu out of Penn State. He's a guy that was probably the top tackle throughout the year, and he kind of has fallen a little bit in our eyes. Still first round pick, still mid-level first round pick.
Right.
Obviously still has the age. He's first team All-American. It's not like he had a down year. But tell us why, you know, we might have pushed him down from 1, like many had him at the start of this process.
So there's a tiering system here, right? So I think it's our number 1 guy, 2 and 3, which is Olu, and the next guy we'll talk about, and then everybody back past them. I think, you know, you would put Amarius Mims, JC Latham, and Tyler Guyton all in a group together. But so Olu is in the next tier. It's close between the 2 guys in this tier, but the biggest problem with Olu, he's a left tackle, which is nice in this class when you have so many good right tackles. Having a left tackle that can play is nice. He hit a lot of athleticism scores at the combine that were good. His biggest problem, though, is his run blocking. He's a really good pass blocker. Really good. I mean, he has good feet, can play on an island, does the dance, you know, very strong inside hand, things like that. But his biggest problem is he is not strong enough to down block or block an edge one-on-one a lot of times. And we saw that a lot when he played Ohio State. They have 2 really good edges that actually went back. Those 2 guys really made it hard on Olu this last year. So I just think, you know, I was expecting more, I guess. But at the same time, he was pretty darn good. 0 sacks, 0.026% pressure rate. Those are really good things. I just, at times, I wanted him to do better. Versus Ohio State, he gave up 6 pressures. You know, that's a lot. 721 snaps at left tackle this season. So at least he has that durability that we like to see. Quick feet, excellent range on his kick. That was one thing I wanted to make sure I said. When he kicks against a speed rusher, he is already there. And that's something, you know, quick first step, getting off the ball, and then ready to punch, already in his stance, is something he does really, really well. But yeah, I think that he has dropped because of the fact that he doesn't have the pass or the run blocking ability that the other two guys above him have.
Yeah, and kind of transition that because, like we said, it's the same tier. But the best right tackle in this class, Taliese Fuaga out of Oregon State, first team All American. Just incredible numbers that he put up this year. Top 4 grade in PFF, was the highest grade run blocker, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And on top of that, 0 sacks allowed. Just crazy good year. Tell us a little bit about him and why we've vaulted him all the way into top 10 pick status.
Well, it's because he hasn't messed up. We're looking for like someone to mess up, and it was Olu. Olu had the film that was like, oh, you lack this. Fuaga didn't lack anything except for, we're a little worried that he can't pass block that well. Well, then you go watch his film. Of course, he does really well in pass blocking throughout the Pac-12 year against Latham and Gabriel, same team. So he did fine. But then they go to the Senior Bowl. And at the Senior Bowl, Latham versus Taliese Fuaga. Fuaga throws him down, and normally in game you would pancake and land on top. Fuaga was being nice, luckily, because that's not good during a Senior Bowl where you're doing one-on-ones. But yeah, he shows that he is able to pass block against the best pass blocker or pass rusher in the class, and he just hasn't messed up. He doesn't do anything wrong. He has 0 sacks against. Yes, he has some pressures, but he is possibly the most proportioned player in this class. Like, body build is awesome. He is the best run blocker in the class. I mean, he is awesome. He is just mean, physical, just go at your throat, pancake at all costs type of guy. The fun plays. The other thing is, when you talk about run blocking, it's not just the guy in front of you. It's, can you get to the linebackers? Can you climb? And he's really good at that. He's a great climber. Guys in space, he can block really well. Safeties, linebackers, whoever. And he really did help that Oregon State offense roll. So,
yeah. And then wrapping it up, we got Joe Alt as our number 1 tackle. Just the best all-around tackle.
Yeah.
And left tackle in this class. First team All-American. Outland Trophy finalist. He could do no wrong. Second overall PFF grade among the position. And there's so much to like about him.
Yeah. Gave up 1 sack. And, we just talked about 2 guys that didn't give up any sacks. Well, he gave up 1. And that's, 600 plus snaps this year. So, I can't fault him necessarily.
And he had 3 times fewer the pressure rate.
Yep.
So.
Exactly. Great arm length. Crazy part, this man is 6'9". That is just wild. And then he's 21.4 years old when the season starts. Right now I don't even know if he's 21 at this point in the year.
No.
I don't think so. So that's pretty cool. Just does a great job. He's just an insane athlete. Doesn't do anything wrong. Great in the pass. Great in the run game. I mean, we just talked about a mauler in the run game and Fuaga. Well, Joe Alt's up there with him, like right at the same level to me. Just doesn't do anything wrong. Helped Audric Estime to 1,400 plus yards, 18 touchdowns. Had 2 penalties this year. Great knee bend, great body bend. Doesn't lean the same way. Always is under control balance wise, which is something that's really hard to find at someone that's this young.
And that's all.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't see many 6'9" tackles.
He came in as a tight end, so it kind of explains his athleticism and his ability in that way. But he came in as a tight end and then just was that much that dominant, which is crazy. Going from tight end to tackle and just being that good is insane. One thing I did say was he just never looks uncomfortable. Just always smooth. Yeah, never like, oh, this guy's faster than me. I need to really just kick real hard. No, just smooth every time. And not like complacent. Like, I know a lot of people think like, you go smooth, you're like complacent. No, it's like, I'm going to get there and they're going to have to make the move. If they go speed to power, I'm going to pancake them because they can't power through me. If they go inside, I'm going to just I'm here. I'm ready. If they try to speed rush around me, I am 6'9". Good luck. Good freaking luck. You know, I got these long arms and I'm 6'9". You're not getting around my leg and my arms. I'd love to see you try. Just very comfortable, bona fide number one in this class. Because he just does everything right. Hasn't, you know, one of the guys that we would say if there weren't so many quarterbacks in this class, wide receivers, he could be a top 2 pick in a lot of classes. There's been classes where we've seen 2 tackles off the board, Eric Fisher and Jake Matthews. Was that year? Jake Long, sorry. Yes. So both, you know, we've seen that. He fits up there with like that type of style, like above these other guys. So
yeah, and in recent drafts we've just seen more and more, I guess, priority on the number 1 pick taking the quarterback, even if they didn't necessarily need to do that that early. But yeah, in terms of overall prospects in this class, he's probably top 4.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Oh yeah.
So you know, it's really close. But I mean, you got Caleb Williams, Joe Alt, Marvin Harrison Jr., and you know,
Brock.
Yes.
Yeah, don't forget Brock.
No. That was the 4th one. But yeah, those are clearly top 5 prospects.
Yeah.
And then 5th one, if you want to throw in the next quarterback, the next receiver, you make an argument for a lot of guys. But those 4 stand alone. So with that being said, guys, that ends and wraps up our tackle video. We appreciate you guys watching. All these guys will be off the board very early in the draft when we come end of April. But we appreciate you guys sticking out with us. Please like, subscribe, comment, check out our other prospect videos that we got going on. We just did our mock 2.0, so be out on the look for that. And then also mock the mock. We got several other things that we're doing, and we're really excited to see y'all and see what you guys think.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, we're getting closer and closer to draft day. Getting these guys' names called deservingly. A lot of these guys are going to be first day 1 guys. So with this actual position is one of the deepest positions in the whole draft. I just probably told y'all 8 or 9 guys that are going to be in the first round. It probably most likely 8, just with the interior offensive line and the tackles both. But yeah, there's a ton of guys that were on this video that you're going to be like, oh, my team picked them. What do I need to know? And you're going to come back and watch that pick. So yeah, I'm really excited though for everything we got coming up. Like, comment, subscribe on this video. Go check out our socials. We're posting more. Post a lot in Twitter and X right now. Instagram is starting up. We're just trying to, you know, get it rolling.
Yeah, keep that ball rolling. It's going to turn in.
Yeah.
And then we're going to...
Slippery slope.
Yeah. We're going to be bothering y'all every single day, basically. So
absolutely.
Thank you guys again. Y'all have a good one. All right.